Hello. No matter what business you're in, communication is key. And if you're in a critical industry, such as financial services or medicine, the security of those messages is just as important as their fast, reliable delivery. Symphony has just developed a workflow productivity service, providing secure messaging for individuals, teams, and organizations of all sizes. So what is it? What are its features and benefits? And who is it aimed at? To answer these and other questions, I spoke to a range of industry gurus to find out more. And to set the scene, I first spoke to David Hill about the changing face of global business and asked him what motivates large companies to move mission-critical applications into the cloud.
I think essentially their first reason for wanting to move applications is to reduce cost. As we know, these days, cost is a significant factor in anybody's business, particularly in the communication side of their business. However, they have to look at a whole range of different things as well. They need to make sure that they've got full availability, that the speed is there for them, that they can actually manage those applications in a time-critical fashion. And also the situation of reach. Can they actually get everybody onto those networks? Can they actually move those applications across? So they have to do a significant amount of pre-testing to ensure that those applications are going to work on the new network or whatever the new function or facility is. As people scale up their requirements, then they need to be in a position to be assured that it's going to happen correctly. Service assurance is probably the most important element of all of that. If they've got the cost down and the service assurance is right, they get the right SLAs and so on, then people will feel a little bit happier. The other piece that comes in, and I'm not going to talk about it at length, is security. And as we know, there's been a lot of talk about security in the cloud. A lot of the big financial organizations are a little nervous about it, and they won't move their mission-critical applications into open cloud, but they've built a lot of their own private clouds to handle that.
Security is always a critical issue. So, with the changing security landscape and the increase in security-related threats, with IT departments and even nation-states under escalating threat, how did David believe that Symphony could help address those concerns?
Well, Symphony is a secure mechanism, and I think from what I've seen that it's something which is somewhat tamper-proof. So it should provide a level of security that people will be satisfied with. It should provide a level of security that is not going to be broken into. We know about hacking. We know that hackers start from the private person who wants to just play around, but it could be companies trying to get hold of industrial information, industrial secrets or whatever. It could be countries as well, and we know that some countries, slightly less ethical countries maybe, are trying to break in and understand exactly what large organizations are doing. A product like Symphony could actually address some of those problems that organizations currently have.
I then spoke to Professor Roger Mills to find out what kinds of communications are routinely used in enterprises and how secure are they.
I became aware of a problem within a bank where the firewall systems had been improperly placed, to discover that individuals had been emailing their own client files to their email accounts, for example, Yahoo and the like. And this was very serious. This was for high net worth individuals. So I see some huge problems, and it's largely caused by the fact that we've got this vast proliferation of devices, handheld devices, and means that it's much easier for people to use them. And you only have to look when you're walking around the streets. You see individuals with their handheld devices. Everybody now seems to want to do everything off their telephone with an app. And I don't think those are secure at all.
Infrastructure readiness is critical to communications, so who better to ask than James Walker of Tata Communications? What trends did he see emerging with cloud-based communications platforms?
There's a whole a lot of work that's been done around how these systems integrate into the enterprise or the bank or whoever it is own systems. This is a big area of development. There's a lot of concern around privacy of data, that data while it's in flight when moving from one location to another. And then this has spawned a couple of other areas of innovation. One is verification of packets end-to-end. So we're seeing the introduction of concepts around blockchain to ensure packet delivery or verification or audit of packets from end-to-end. The other thing is because a lot of these communications are quite time sensitive, we're looking at a number of technologies around deterministic pathing, deterministic routing, providing latency that's specific to a particular application, and being able to dynamically change that route according to the different application requirements or the different messaging requirements. So it's actually a time of quite a lot of innovation and a lot of integration that's going on between not just the cloud but also the network side.
To what extent did he believe financial services firms are preparing themselves for global cloud deployments?
Financial firms have put a lot of investment into virtualizing their infrastructure. They still have some legacy applications that need to sit within the data center just because they can't move them somewhere else, or else because they have particular audit requirements that they might need to support, or security, privacy, and so on. But we do see a lot more work being done around applications that are able to be moved into the cloud. These are particularly ones that don't deal with directly sensitive data. So we see a number of financial firms that are, first of all, making their infrastructure much more global, so distributing it into different regions so it can be closer to the operating businesses that need to draw down on that data, or they can comply to local laws and so on, or there's latency concerns, whatever it might be. But we also see them looking at how they integrate public cloud services to offload some of the really heavy computational things, analytics of portfolios and so on for high net worth individuals is one that we've seen. And this drives, in fact, a lot of data, much more than we expected. We also find that there's a proliferation of devices like iPads and so on as being a window on your portfolio. These devices typically don't have a lot of processing power, and so that processing power needs to be held within the bank's facilities or within the cloud. So this distribution and cloudification, virtualization of these applications is something that's happening, but many banks and financial institutions are at different stages along that path.
Finally, one of the key innovations from Symphony is the use of customer-owned encryption key infrastructure. Why does he think this approach makes sense?
I think the idea of having the customer bring their own encryption keys is really critical to anything that looks at communications within and between financial institutions. The customer actually owning that encryption end-to-end is absolutely the model we see from a networking perspective, and it makes an enormous amount of sense to bring it into an application as well. Sitting behind that is obviously the whole thing needs to be regulated in some way, and the regulatory authorities need to have an understanding of how they can, in retrospect, go through trades to understand how they happened, to make sure that nothing untoward is happening. So I think that an environment where the customers are bringing their own keys to the table, it means that no component of it has to be trusted. It's something where essentially all the trust is built up by the customer themselves. I think it's a good model.
Time to hear from David Gurlé, founder and CEO of Symphony Communications. How does he believe that non-financial organizations, such as legal, accounting, healthcare or education, as well as businesses and teams, will benefit from using Symphony as a messaging platform?
All enterprises, all businesses have a great need to communicate. You have to exchange information. That's the nature of the business. It's your nervous system. Symphony protects, connects those users so that they can exchange that kind of information interactively in real time so that they can get business done faster. I believe that Symphony can be used anywhere. It could be used in those industries, but also in places like governments, regulated companies, aerospace and defense.
And how important are partners such as Dow Jones, McGraw-Hill and Celerity to Symphony's strategy?
Symphony wants to be the workflow platform for enterprises of all sizes. Then you create content and then you consume content. Partners like Dow Jones, McGraw-Hill, and Celerity provide a form of content that's enabled our users to communicate with each other, sharing this content in real time. And that's just the beginning for us.
Does he see Symphony as a replacement for financial data analytics and trading platforms?
No, actually, it's a different form of consuming this data or analytics or applications that people are going to be able to put together, like even compose their own menu. It is as if you have your Lego bricks, and that you say, here is the kind of the thing that you have to follow as a model to build. But what if you want to change it? Symphony enables you to create your own masterpiece.
And finally, I spoke to an end user, Dean Berry of ICAP. Why does he believe Symphony's approach is attractive to financial services firms?
I think for all financial services firms, chat is a crucial part of the way that we speak to our clients. It is just one mechanism, however, it is an increasingly important part. Part of what Symphony offers to us is the open source network, which is crucial for us. The velocity of innovation from open source is something which can't be denied. People contributing multiple pieces adds to this. Also, the ability for us to integrate that open source channel into our own solutions. Likewise, Symphony's security is a huge attraction to us. The encryption methodology is very attractive, and we feel it offers us another avenue for further competition.
How does he expect adoption to really take off?
If we look at some of the commodities markets, they utilize chat mechanisms which are not compliant, they're not robust, they're not suited, they're not built for purpose that it's used today. So I would imagine Symphony will get adoption in those asset classes very, very easily. I think if everyone commits to utilize the service, then because of the nature of the client profile coming from buy side to sell side through to the IDBs, if we all commit to use this, then the network effect, added to that the fact that it is open to everyone, it can be, people can use it in a free way, you don't have to have an enterprise version, means that adoption, I think the snowball effect will actually come quite quickly.
So we've heard that Symphony is a secure, compliant and fast communications platform, and that the infrastructure is ready to support it. We've also heard that Symphony is open source and provides workflow productivity for enterprises, large and small, across all market segments. So it's already in use and allows you to communicate with confidence, offering speed, flexibility and peace of mind. Take a look at Symphony's website now.